Hello, and thanks for having us at Kane Research Day. Today's presentation is The Future Won't Wait. We're talking about faculty research transforming education. I'm Dr. Laura Ziegler. I'm a professor and the chair of the Educational Technology Department at NJCU. And here are my colleagues, Dr. Chris Schamberg, who is the coordinator of our doctoral program, and Dr. Dana Mason, who is an assistant professor in our program. Dr. Schamberg?
We asked one fundamental question. What happens at the dawn of new technology? How do early adopting teachers use a new innovation, such as ChatGPT, and how do these ideas spread? We web scraped an initial corpus of over 1,000 TikTok posts, and we looked at teachers sharing ideas about ChatGPT during its first year of public release. We then reviewed these posts and saw that 256 met our criteria as active K-12 teachers who were using ChatGPT during its first year. We did a mixed method study looking at both the quantity of engagement and the quality, the thematic analysis of the posts. Then we looked at how the numbers of engagement and the themes of the content related. Our analysis found that these early adopters focused on practical advice of lesson planning and productivity to relieve the stresses of teaching. However, and this was really important, themes relating to tensions beyond the classroom and the changing nature of teaching and learning resonated the most with the viewers. Viewers were really interested in what's the big picture? What's the direction of education, society, and culture? So those are some lessons that we came away with. Dr. Dana Mason is continuing this research and going into more detail. Dana?
Dr. Schamberg. As a secondary extension of our initial research with ChatGPT and TikTok with teachers, we're now tracing the diffusion of generative AI, the evolution, education of influencers on TikTok. And so with this one, we're examining, it's a snapshot in time. We started out with ChatGPT being released as the major disruptor in 2022. Now we're learning how to regulate it. And we want to learn a little more about what people are thinking. How have we evolved since then? Have things gone positively? Have they gone negatively? Where are we in the middle? And so this discussion at times has been polarized where schools feel that they should be banning it. Other schools feel it should be integrated. But finding a place in the middle has been a difficult thing. So the purpose of the study is to find out where we are years later, where teacher influencers on TikTok and where they are in their spaces. Are they saying the same things? Are they touting the same stories that they started out 3 years ago? And what the evolution of that has been, so we can kind of take a snapshot 3 years later to see what we've learned and where we've gone. Our methodology is based on qualitative interviews from using that original corpus of the 256 posts and posters. We've reached out to them. We have 80 TikTok content creators that we've been able to reach out to from those posts. 5 were able to respond. These are people who've used the hashtag teacher talk. So from that so far, this is ongoing research. We're still in the preliminary phases of it, but we're finding some themes from these people who are content sharing. The idea is they feel that AI is super important and they'd really like to make sure that they get as much as they can out to teachers, understanding that professional development is difficult to do and find time for. So they'd like to do it as a continuing informal learning situation. And TikTok is a great platform for that. So this is where many of them have been posting. And student abuses in the past were one of the big sticking points, but we're finding that it's more of an instructional design issue, learning how to utilize AI as opposed to finding students that are cheating or not cheating. Those who are cheating will do so without AI, and those are some things that are coming through as well. It's also AI has become something that's given us an opportunity to work with creatively enhancing other things in our classroom and our instructional design. And it's also being able to kind of streamline some of our repetitive tasks, giving teachers maybe more time to focus with their students in the classroom. As we continue this research, we're really excited about the analysis and finding new emerging themes that come.
Well, if we're going to talk about repetition and tasks, let's talk about co-grading with AI. So our co-research continues. We're currently undergoing a study looking at how AI-assisted assessment might help or hurt in higher education. The basic question that we're asking is, can AI serve as a reliable second reader or grading assistant? We create rubrics, we have assignments, and so if we put all of these things into AI, can we also put in our students' submissions and have it reliably grade and provide important feedback for students? There's obviously fairness concerns and accreditation requirements that are all part of this. So in phase one, we took two different assignments, project 2, which included a submission of a paper and a PowerPoint, and project 3, which was kind of a higher level submission requirement. And we said, let's put these both into ChatGPT and find out whether it can grade the rubrics as reliably as 3 faculty members in the department. So we were looking at in the first phase whether we have scoring consistency amongst the faculty with ChatGPT. In the second phase, which is in our next step, we've asked ChatGPT to give us feedback, both positive and constructive, for both of the assignments. And what we're doing with that is rather than giving our own feedback and comparing it, we're actually evaluating the feedback, whether we feel that it was reliable, and we're looking at a bunch of different areas. So the methodology, as I suggested, is 2 projects. We had 12 submissions for one and 16 submissions for the other, 3 full-time faculty members and ChatGPT 4. We gave it the standardized prompt. It wasn't anything other than the assignment and the rubric. If you look at project 2 scores, the ChatGPT with the human average, they're quite close, all the way down the line for each one of the students with 1 or 2 outliers. And then for project 3, on the next slide, we have the same thing. Very similar, maybe a little more differences, and we can talk more about why that might be so. So, how can faculty use AI for grading today? Well, here's our preliminary results. Yeah, it's great for like formative feedback, quick rubric aligned comments, things that are very specific. Students can use it to check their own drafts against the rubric. That would be helpful. But we did find that it wasn't reliable enough on its own. And as one data point, it's really not worth using. However, we found that it could be good as a co-grader, as particularly there's some hope for the feedback part, and which is our future study.
Thank you. Well, here's a project that doesn't involve AI. It doesn't even involve digital technology. If you work in a K-12 school, you're likely familiar with co-teaching. If you don't work in a K-12 school, co-teaching is a situation where 2 teachers, 1 general education and 1 special education teacher, teach the same students collaboratively in the same class. During a 10-year process, we worked and refined a board game that gave teachers ways to reflect on their practice and priorities and got them used to having productive and even uncomfortable conversations between co-teachers. We played the game with over 300 teachers over 7 times, and we interviewed 43 people after gameplay. We worked with 3 doctoral students and collected and thematically analyzed the interviews. Here's some of the findings we came up with. The themes were the participants appreciated the authenticity of the situation and the professional development. They thought that important for co-teaching was being emotionally sensitive to their partner. Acknowledging respect to their partner was also important. Prioritizing the student experience was a priority for these co-teachers as well, and identifying difficulties outside of the classroom. So not being responsible to the student, but also acknowledging that there are factors outside of the realm of their classroom that affect the lives of children and teaching. So we presented recently at AERA, and we have an article that's under review in a journal, and we look forward to continuing with this.
Thank you for your time. For more information, please see our website.